So, gotta ask, can you tell us who you were on the phone with when you were walking around that neighborhood about 20 minutes ago?
You want the real exclusive here?
I do, absolutely.
You ready for this? This is tough stuff, but if you want the investigative reporter, my wife.
Your wife, yeah. You just wanted to have that private conversation?
Occasionally, I thought.
What was the reaction when people were walking dogs? I just had to curious. People are walking by going.
Well, it was very positive. I mean, people were stopping, trying to get photographs, trying to say hello. It's a very nice neighborhood.
Well,
we don't usually take walks with helicopters on top of us, so it was an interesting experience.
I think the burning question, I think, for a lot of Democrats in this state is how you can win here. We've seen a path for Democrats to win statewide here, but the Democrats who win are people like Kyrsten Sinema, who's much more of a moderate than you are. How does Bernie Sanders ultimately beat Donald Trump in a swing state like this one?
Because we talk about the issues that are concerns to working people. And all of the issues that we talked about have very widespread support. We talk about raising the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, from $7.25 an hour, which is a starvation wage, to $15 an hour. We talk about demanding that the wealthiest people in this country, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, start paying their fair share of taxes. We talk about making health care as a human right and do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to all, substantially lower the cost of health care for working families. That's how you win elections.
And you have to turn out young people and Latinos especially, because that's sort of your
We want to turn out everybody, but
yeah.
We certainly want to turn out, and the reason we focus on working people and young people and Latinos is that the voting turnout rate for those particular groups is not as high as it should be. So I hope that we have a very high voter turnout here in Arizona, but I hope that young people understand that they are the future of this country. They cannot sit it out. They're going to have to get involved if they're concerned about racism or xenophobia or climate change. We need their help, and we need their help to beat Donald Trump.
Last week I was down at the southern border reporting on the border wall that's being built right through Organ Pipe National Monument. Trump administration set aside 36 different laws, environmental, protecting cultural sites. Environmentalists are pretty upset about this. What happens to the border wall if you're elected president?
We stop building it. I don't want to spend billions of dollars building a wall. It is unnecessary. We have modern technology. We have manpower that can protect our border, and we don't need to be investing more in a border wall. I mean, what the border wall is about is a manifestation of Trump's xenophobia, his demonization of the undocumented in this country, and I strongly disagree with Trump. My view is that we should move to comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. And on my first day in office, through executive order, we're going to restore the legal status of 1.8 million young people eligible for DACA.
Arizona's chief export is missiles. There are a lot of people who work for defense contractors in Arizona, tens of thousands of them. What's your message to them if they're worried about voting for you and the future of their jobs?
Well, we want and need a strong defense. No question about that.
But you've been a critic
of
defense spending.
But on the other hand, when you have 500,000 people sleeping out on the streets tonight, when you have young people who can't afford to go to college, 87 million people who are uninsured or underinsured, we've got to get our priorities right. I do not believe that we should be spending more on the military than the next 11 nations combined. But we do need a strong defense system, and obviously that's what I'll provide.
Education is always one of the top issues here in Arizona. We're also one of the states which has expanded school choice initiatives probably more than just about any other, except for, I think, D.C. What does the Sanders administration do in terms of federal help for education? Because traditionally it's a state issue.
Well, it's a state issue, and it's certainly a federal issue as well. We will substantially increase funding for Title I low-income schools, because I believe that all kids are entitled to a high-quality education regardless of their zip code. We will also move to universal, high-quality, affordable child care, because our child care system in this country is a disaster. And we're also going to make public colleges and universities tuition-free.
Some of the top Democrats in this state in particular have all they've all endorsed Joe Biden. Stanton, Sinema, and Kelly have all endorsed Joe Biden. And there seems to be a movement, at least among some Democrats, to get behind Biden because they see him as more electable. I know you've been asked this question probably all day, but what case do you make to those moderate voters who may be on the fence about you? They may not like Trump, but they have a problem voting for you.
Well, the case that I make is, I believe, for a variety of reasons, we are the strongest campaign to defeat Trump. You're going to need, I don't know how many people we have in there, 5,000, 10,000 people. You're going to need energy. You're going to need excitement. You're going to have to get working people involved in the campaign. You're going to have to get young people involved in the campaign. You're going to have to get strong support from the minority communities, the African American community, the Latino community, the Asian American community. We think we are the campaign that can do that. I think that the American people are a little bit tired of conventional politics. You know, Joe Biden is a friend of mine. He's a nice guy. But he has received campaign donations from 60 billionaires. He has a super PAC. It's the same old type of politics, which gives us massive income and wealth inequality, and the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. We need real change, and I think our campaign is the change campaign.